Go ahead and hit record, and off we go. So, welcome everyone. We are here. I'm Adam Beebe. I'm the broker for the site that you see on your screen, all hyphenated. StayatHomemom.com. I'm joined by Raven Perkins, the seller, the owner of the site. Raven, please say hi.
Hello.
And thank you for joining us, Raven. I appreciate it. Everyone listening, other than Raven, if you haven't already done so, please dial into the audio bridge. You can also use the integrated audio in your computer to listen in. During the call, you're going to be on mute. You can answer the questions via the chat functionality of the GoToMeeting. I'll see the question. I'll ask it verbatim at the appropriate time. But please keep those questions coming. Before I forget, this recording of this open house will be available on Latona's within 24 hours. Also, before I forget, we do have a prospectus on the site. We're going to be covering a lot of information now. We do also have a prospectus for the site. It is available. We do need a signed NDA in-house in order for me to email that to you. I'll have all my contact information and slide, but it's also in the listing itself. Speaking of the listing itself, this is the deal snapshot. This is off latonas.com. In your once someone registers, which is just providing an email to your Latonas account, you can access the annual revenue, expenses, uniques, and page views via just clicking the link. It'll break it down over the past trailing 12 months. So you can see what this site is. It's been around since 2007. We're going to get more in depth about the history. Raven will here in a moment. But this is all accessible to anyone watching or anybody logging into latonas.com. Raven, you're going to also, and I didn't mention this before, but you're going to see, I'm going to put myself on mute during times when you're the only one going to be speaking, which is during the history of the site and admin. When you want me to advance slides, and there's only a couple here, this is more applicable during admin. When you're done talking about a slide, just say advance and I'll advance. That's really more applicable during admin later. But during this history of the site, over the past 8-9 years, I believe it would, what would that be, the math? Yeah, eight-ish to 9 years. Tell us what you've done differently through the history of the site to what it is right now. Just kind of explain how you got the idea and the way up to present day. Just a minute or two, a couple minutes.
Okay. Well, originally I created this website because I had done a lot of different money saving and money making things throughout the years, and people kept asking me about them. So I figured it would probably be a good idea to create a website on it. The concept is surviving off one income in a two-income society, which the entire site goes through ways to save money, to make money, or to reduce household expenses. Things like couponing, deals, any kind of money-making scheme that you can possibly think of, I've probably tried or put up there. And originally, I had wanted to make it a place where I could attract people to a very easy network marketing company that I was involved in. I'll go through that a little bit later, called Jerky Direct. Basically, I wanted an outlet for traffic to be able to come in to the site. I'd pre-sell them with some quality content, and they began to trust me so that I could tell them a legitimate way for them to make money at home, which would then be put into an auto ship program where I'd receive income every month. And that's what happened. It also removed me from the process of having to sit down and talk with people about network marketing. It was all done on the website. It did its own thing. People signed up. I never spoke to them. So it has accomplished that goal. Through the years, I've added in additional income strategies. I did well with AdSense for a number of years, and then about 2011 it started to tank off and then leveled out in 2013 to what it's making right now. It was at one point making about 4 times that amount, and the traffic didn't vary drastically. In fact, traffic has gone up since then, so it's just probably the AdSense model. I've put in different things like info products and courses, and I have a lot more that I never got around to putting together. But the site overall has, over the years, my number one goal was putting in more content and getting more traffic. So the monetization kind of fell by the wayside for a lot of that.
The aforementioned mute there, I
Oh,
apologize, and I know this,
sorry.
and it's mentioned in the actual listing. You have
Mhm.
close to 60,000. Well, it's right here, 59 and some change. People like this. Sounds like you're doing some good stuff with social media. Um, why don't you discuss that slightly as far as what type of social media presence you have?
Well, I actually have a decent social media following. I have Twitter, but I don't do very much on Twitter. Basically, anything that I post on Facebook, a lot of what I post on Facebook is duplicated on Twitter when applicable. But that's the only thing I do with Twitter. I do have about 60,000 people on Facebook, and that is probably the only time-consuming thing I do with this site right now is making pre-posts on Facebook so that they're scheduled and they come out at a certain time, but it connects with the audience, and then I push them back to the website. I like to ask a lot of engaging things, ways for a lot of the people on this site are people that are moms that have some sort of a business that they're doing, usually a direct sales business. So they like to, talk about themselves and communicate, and Facebook is the perfect platform for them to do that. I also have a following of almost 10,000 on YouTube, and there are several videos up on YouTube. I think the most popular one has 40 or 50,000 views on it, and it's how to make laundry soap at home, making your own laundry soap. So I did go through a stint where I did several videos, how-to videos on frugal things. I also have quite a bit of a presence on Pinterest, and that's because at one point a few years ago when I realized Pinterest was exciting and new, I had my graphic artist design a graphic about every single page. I say every single, there's probably a handful of pages that got missed somewhere along the way. But nearly every single page on the website has its own custom drawn, cartoony type image to be used for Pinterest. And that really was a successful thing. I get a lot of the traffic from my site from Pinterest and from that initiative that I took several years ago. So social media is something that I really did embrace, and it's still continuing to this day. There, Adam, advance.
No, great,
And
great job,
yeah,
Raven. And as you're going to go into, this is anybody can go to archive the Wayback Machine. Um, really, I guess I know you have been very good at a lot of the images, and I know this is between when we were speaking. The stuff is custom made. It comes with the site. Um, you know, how many different major manifestations of the site has there been?
um, not too terribly many as far as like site design. Is that what you're asking?
Correct. I'm going to leave myself
I'm
off
not sure
mute.
what the question
That's
is.
fine. There's not a lot of noise here. I'm going to leave myself off mute so there won't be that delay until admin. Yeah, just something that anything dramatically different about the site, be it site design and/or monetization methods and/or traffic, anything.
There really hasn't been anything dramatic. I went through a few different site designs over the years. The majority of the site is on Site Sales platform. At one point, I did my own templates and my own system and brought part of it. They have a block system, so at one point I transitioned from that to an upload your own system where I created the files. But there hasn't really been any drastic changes as far as that goes. And the concept has always really remained the same, helping moms earn money or save money in order to be able to stay home with their children. So that part has always remained the same. Through the years, we did different things. At one point, for 6 months or so, I was really big into posting giveaways and having people come and enter giveaways on the site. And I did that for a while. I did some reviews, but I just didn't feel like it was something that was adding money to the bottom line, so it got axed. But really, there hasn't been anything else drastic. The changes that I've made have been little along the way that just kind of added up over time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the in-depth answer. What everybody's looking at right now are analytics. You obviously have Google Analytics on the site. This is over the past year, 12 months. Well, roughly. I mean, Victoria did the PowerPoint here a couple days ago. Um, what were Well, actually, it would be because it's, yeah, I'm sorry. Um, what I'm seeing here when I look at it is stability. I'm seeing a couple spikes, which I would imagine is a specific offer, maybe, or um, some some sort of special or some special content that you added on the site. But is that accurate? Pretty stable traffic. What would you attribute these spikes for? Weekends are slower, summers are slower.
It's pretty steady throughout. Honestly, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've pretty much ignored this site in the last 12 months. It's kind of been a thorn in my side because I know that it needs attention and I haven't given it to it. I've been busy with other projects. So this is the traffic, the do nothing traffic. So this is the stability of it's just doing its own thing. The spikes were probably some show. Usually when I get spikes, it's because there's been a renewed interest in couponing. I've got a very extensive section on how to coupon. So when I see spikes like that, often it's because a new episode of Extreme Couponing has come out that has made a big difference, or something along those lines. It usually has to do with something media-wise that pulls the traffic.
Thank you. Um, the vast majority of the traffic, not obviously, but the majority of traffic comes from the U.S. These are all really what we're looking at is the usual suspects, and that's a compliment as it relates to beneficial good traffic. The U.S., Canada, Australia, UK's up there. India, there's a lot of people in India. Um, so, and it's mentioned in the ad. Now would be appropriate. What have you done as far as paying for any traffic, any link building? What have you done regarding that, if anything?
I, I've never paid for any traffic or link building.
Okay. Okay. I knew the answer to that. As mentioned, I know the answer to some of these questions, but I like hearing it from the seller's mouth, so to speak. Um, and to that end, the, I mean, that's got to be two-thirds, if not more, of the traffic is organic. You're doing great in social media. The vast majority of these sites I see have social media just above other. But the fact that you're controlling your own destiny to a certain extent with the effort you put into social media is good. Um, you've already mentioned you don't pay for traffic, and that's really I see that answered that question right there. Um, what we're looking at keywords, you say you haven't purchased any keywords, so these are all organic things that you get traffic for. Um, any, and I think I mentioned this, and I want to go back here slightly. The only reason I want to go back here slightly, do you, Raven, see anything relevant as far as the keywords that you're interacting with? Anything here? I see coupons. Anything that you consistently have? Stay-at-home moms, I would imagine, is a pretty familiar term where a lot of people are going to search for. Which is that really your bread and butter?
Really, I have those different sections on the sites. Like I have more than 50 pages regarding coupons. So that's a really popular area of the site. You'll see under there something called left-right game, as well as home party companies. Those pertain to the direct sales portion of the site, which is also a very, very popular portion of the site. And then I have some really strong pages about, one-off type things that you can do to make money. Like you'll see donate plasma for cash. I have a page on selling your hair that's really popular, and one on car wrapping. So those types of pages all pertain to the site concept. And so I get a lot of traffic from just organic searches for those one-off type topics.
Good. Um, these are Yeah, I'm looking at that. Those are really impressive numbers based on a lot of the sites that we deal with just don't do the social media as much as you are. Anything as it relates to social media that you can, the obvious is improve everything, but is there something specifically to your site that you think you could add effort into one certain genre, one certain social media outlet that would more improve the site?
Well, actually, yes. First, I want to say, though, that Pinterest, you can see that there's a drastic amount of traffic from Pinterest compared to the other social media platforms. Pinterest is so easy. I like add a button once and it's done. I don't log in for months and months and months and I still get all the traffic. So I love Pinterest. Pinterest is my favorite thing because I don't have to do anything to it. But I think that the outlet that would probably be the biggest return right now would be YouTube. I have established, I haven't added a new video in years to YouTube, and the videos that I still have up there are still getting traffic. So I think that just a little bit of work there and adding some more videos could really make that a much bigger presence than it already is, just based on the amount of traffic to the videos that are currently up there.
Okay. No link building, no link exchanges. These are naturally occurring. We will, and this is something that obviously anybody can go to. We just grabbed it from there. The next slide, well, I'm sorry, this slide is a bit more relevant. What are some of these sites that you're linked with? What are some more of the impressive ones?
Well, the top one there is results.sitesell.com. That is for SiteSell, Site Build It. That's the web platform that I use for the majority of the website. When they're doing their own sales pages, they profile some of the people that have them as a provider, and they take the best of the best and they show, hey, look, this site is doing awesome. So this is one of the people that you should emulate. So I was lucky enough to be one of the ones profiled on that at one time. I'm not certain that I am right now. They switch them out every once in a while. Other ones that you see up there, Beachpreneurs, that just happens to be a community that I'm involved in that with some major internet marketers. The other ones, I don't honestly know.
Sure. That's what most people come up with, and that's understandable. A couple, but that's completely understandable. I mean, really, anything relevant you see here?
Yeah, just analytics, just numbers.
You want to expound upon, and I don't see any questions regarding it. Keywords, and I probably can, main competitors. I mean, we've really already addressed it. The big thing is you're not paying for any of these. Do you see constant, I mean, you've already said they're pretty consistent down the board, but you have the articles or the content that you're adding really is going to drive the keywords that they're ranking well for.
Right.
Okay, I don't see anybody holding up their hand here. SEMrush, anybody can have access to that. Really, the only time I go into much of this is if there's any paid traffic. For yours, and there's going to be a lot more relevant for slides that are upcoming. The uniques in this screenshot is available for anybody to log into their Latona's account, and then the aforementioned annual uniques hyperlink. You click that. We provide that. Highs of 40,000, lows of around 28, 29,000. Do you know of anything specifically that happened in January or October?
No, and that's, kind of, this year is probably a really good year to look at it because I know that of all the years that I have worked on this site, this is the year that I have done next to nothing with. So it's an interesting thing to see what the different highs and lows are, that they just happened that way.
Okay.
Nothing done to it to make it that way.
Okay. And that's good. I mean, this is just showing laissez-faire, if you will. This is what would be ongoing if someone else didn't do anything. Yes. Well, the assumption that would be the case. Views obviously follow uniques. Reasonable amount of page views per uniques. Really nothing more to talk about on this one, and I see that address that question. Jerky Direct, which represents roughly, and this is a ballpark, roughly a consistent $1,200 a month for you. This is the admin section, and these are going to look very familiar, Raven, because these are the ones that you supplied Victoria and she inserted directly into the PowerPoint. So this
Yes.
is where I'm going to put myself on mute. Take your time, explain. The takeaway here is just from an outsider looking in, what you're going to be operating in the back end. So these are all the admin screenshots. Probably the best thing to do, since we're looking at it, is explain your relationship and the transferability of that relationship with Jerky Direct. Also, before I forget, mention what the site's built on, what platform. And with that, I'll hit mute. When you're done talking about a slide, just just say next, please.
Okay. All right. This is Jerky Direct, and this is the largest income source for the website. This is the network marketing program that I was mentioning earlier. As far as transferability, it will take me 5 minutes. The only caveat is that the person that I transfer it to, or the entity that I transfer it to, must be US based. I have to have a US tax identifier number or social security number in order to transfer it. Jerky Direct is only in the United States, which is one of the reasons why my traffic is so heavily US traffic. Basically what this is it's a network marketing program based on beef jerky, like meat snacks. It's ridiculous. They get 2 bags of jerky in the mail every month. They pay $17.70, including shipping, and it comes to their door. Of that $17.70, $5 goes back into our account. Now it's supposed to be only $2. However, what I ended up doing is I figured out how to stack 7 stores. You're seeing one of the back ends of one of the stores, and this was with the company's approval. I stacked 7 stores so that I collected all of the upline commission instead of just the commission due one person. That's really made the difference with this. Now, my entire goal with Jerky Direct was to not have to do the whole network marketing thing where you're calling people on the phone and you're meeting them in person and you're doing webinar after webinar and presentation after presentation. I didn't want to do any of that, which is why I created the website. There are more than 30 pages, yes, I'm trying to think, at least 35 pages on the website about Jerky Direct, about various aspects of it. And those are the pages that, I apologize for my alarm. Anyway, those are the pages that people are getting through organic search and through, I put ads on Facebook. When I say ads, I'm not paying for ads. I just put ads up on my Facebook page that lead them back to the pages on the website about Jerky Direct. They go through the pages, they're convinced to buy, they go ahead and sign up. Jerky Direct handles all the shipment, they handle all the returns, if there are any, they handle all the payments of those people. If those people sign up other people, then we get a portion of their $5 as well. So that's how that started. Again, I have 7 different stores. This particular store has 553, it looks like, stores under it. This is the main store where everybody that signs up through the Stay at Home Mom website goes straight to this program. It's Jerky Direct's own system. I get a little email that says that they're in. I go and I log in, I collect their email address, I put it through my AWeber starter. I have like a little, what I call boot camp, which is an autoresponder series for 7 days. I add them to a Facebook group, and that 90% of the time is totally it. I just spend a little bit of time answering questions in the Facebook group, but there are over 600 people there, so a lot of times they just answer each other's questions. And I just am there for show, say welcome, answer little quick, easy questions for them, but nothing major. It's an extremely simple program. I've put together a lot of different training for the team members, and I have that available on Facebook and then on a couple of different autoresponder series that I send out if they choose to sign up for them. But that's basically Jerky Direct in a nutshell. It's network marketing. It's hands-off. There is a little bit of time that I spend in the Facebook groups, and I do every once in a while try to create new training for them, or update things, that type of thing. But on average, you can ignore it for a while and it will still generate money. We did just have a price increase last month, April 1st, with Jerky Direct, and I did not see any attrition due to that. I have normal attrition every month. I generally get between 5 and 15 new signups a month, and maybe between 3 and 7 or 8 that quit. So, it keeps growing. You'll see if you look through the income statements over time that it has a tendency to to go up a little bit, then the next couple of months creep down a little bit, and then it will go up further the fourth month than it was the first. So it does that cycle, but over time it grows every month. Let's see what else we have. Next. Okay, oh, this is my A member platform that I use to sell the information products as well as the advertising services that I have on Stay at Home Mom. The information products that I currently have up right now, I do have a couponing course that I've been selling for like 4 years. It's up there. I have a how to become a gestational surrogate mother and how to be an A-list mystery shopper, completely different topics. The concept was always either saving money or making money in order to stay a stay-at-home mom, so I do have products for both of those. The majority of the income right now that is used, that I'm getting from a member, is actually advertising. Now, keeping in mind that this site is designed for stay-at-home moms, that's also my target market as far as advertising goes. Most of these moms, I'd say 99% of the people that choose to advertise with me are people that are involved in direct sales and network marketing, and there's a couple of different options for them to advertise. They either purchase a rotating banner ad that I have on nearly all of the pages on the site, and they do that for $25 a month, which is very popular. Occasionally I'll get somebody in like a coupon site or something that's not direct sales, and they'll use that option. And then I also have directory listings for their different network marketing or direct sales company, where they can say, hey, I sell Tupperware. If you're looking for a Tupperware rep, or if you'd like to become one, here's my links. And those are very popular because it's a way for the moms that are already connecting on my Facebook page and are already on the site and already using up those resources. It's a way for them to be a part of the site, and it's a way for them to get traffic to them and their sites from this website. Through the years, some of them drop like minutes after they join. Some of them have been around for years and years and years, and they're continuing their advertising. Generally, it's, usually the attrition is between 2 and 3 cycles, and that's, how it is with a lot of continuity programs. So I have that going on in there, and I have some other products I'm going to talk about in a minute here, but that's the back end of a member. It is used off of WordPress. It's actually been integrated with WordPress. I have, and I'll show you in a minute, I have my main back end for the majority of the site is Site Build It. It's the same thing, it's a synonymous term. But then I have a blog subdomain, which the A member is licensed. It's already been purchased, and it's integrated with the blog subdomain. So that's how it's accessed through. It's not part of WordPress, but it's used off of my WordPress account, if that makes any sense. It doesn't look like WordPress in the background. It's a completely different system, but that's how it's accessed. I think we can go to the next one now. Okay, then this is the blog that I was talking about. This is the WordPress portion of the blog. It integrates again with a member, so pages that I create on WordPress, if I'd like to have them secured, if they're a product like download page, I can do that by creating a page here and having it integrate with the A member. It's very difficult on the site sell platform to have a blog, so I created a subdomain and put it onto WordPress. Actually, one of the reasons I decided over a year ago that I wanted to sell this website, and one of the reasons that I held off on it, was because I always intended to completely switch the site over to WordPress instead of having it on 2 platforms, and I just never got around to it. So you'll see that there are lots of posts, blog posts that are available here with WordPress, and I have occasional pages in here as well, simply because I was learning WordPress, and it made more sense for that particular page. But that's what you'll see here in the WordPress platform. I guess, let's see, moving on, I guess next slide. Okay, and this is SBI, Site Sell, Site Build It, however you want to say it. This is the main portion of the website. The majority of the pages, probably like 85–90% of the pages are, or pages, posts, whatever, are all on Site Build It. And basically, it's just a platform. I upload the HTML pages in full onto Site Build It. They've got lots of great tools. All my keyword research I did through what they call Brainstorm It, so that they are all the pages on the Site Build It platform are keyword focused content pages. I learned how to do that by using Site Builder, which is a great set of training wheels. There's lots of different traffic analysis that I can go in, and I'll show you a clip from one of them. I can show you some of the stuff that they do in the back end. But it's a really great program. It's how, like I said, I access the majority. All my images are stored here, and the majority of the pages are stored here as well. And that's very easily transferable. It's just I have to contact them and tell them who the new person is. I've done it before with a different site, so it's very simple to transfer. And next slide, please. Okay, and this is where I actually upload the pages. So it's just a button. You can see it says browse. I just push browse. I figured out where it is on my computer and press submit. Same with the pictures. Pretty simple to do on the Site Build It platform. Any changes I want to make, I make them to the original page, and then I just push the browse button and attach it again. I guess it's kind of like the old FTP things. I never did that. I don't know how to do all that stuff, but this was a much easier alternative. Site Build It also has a block builder program that I had originally started with before I decided that I wanted more control over the look and feel of the site. So all my pages are CSS pages and HTML pages. And then the next slide thing, please. And this is just a page from Arachnophilia, which is the free program that I use to create the pages for Site Build It. It's HTML, it's CSS, it's pretty much cut and paste. Everything's in a template. There's nothing. If you're not familiar with HTML, it's not that hard to figure out, and I'd be very happy to walk you through it. It's like a 10-minute conversation as far as the ease with doing this, because you're not going to be changing around anything major, and if you are, you probably hire somebody to do some graphics and some work like that anyway, unless you're skilled in that, and then I wouldn't need to teach you. So it's it's not as complicated as it looks, but it does give you a lot of control over what's on your pages. Next one, please. All right, this is my Aweber account and some of the lists that come with the site. You can see the one at the very top is Jerky Boot Camp. Those are the people in my Jerky Direct downline who've actually made it onto boot camp. That's basically my list of the people that are already in the downline. That changes over time. People drop out. People never actually make it over, or people that have signed other people up forget to tell them about it. So it's not representative of the true number of people that are in the downline. It's just a it's just the ones that have made it to the boot camp. Occasionally I'll email them something if I'm running some sort of incentive and say, well, if you sign up 5 people this month, I'll send you a $10 Amazon card. Usually I only have 2 or 3 that actually do that, but everybody gets real excited. The Money Make Save, that's the main list for this website. I did recently purge it to get rid of the people that hadn't opened emails in quite some time. I think it says there's 3361 or 33, something like that right now. I can't see, the numbers are too small, but around that amount right now is what's in that main list. And I mail them approximately once a month. I'd like to be mailing them at least once or twice a week, but again, I kind of ignored this website, so on good months I mail them once or twice a month. Then the third one down is the Stay-at-Home Mom MLM, and that is the list, and it's got about 970 people. That is the list of people that are interested in Jerky Direct but have not yet signed up. And those people on that list, I have an autoresponder series that I do. It's 20 or 30 emails that just keep reminding them about the opportunity and giving them a place to join. It's very popular. I get a lot of signups for that. As you can see, there's almost 1,000 people on there, so it's a good deal of people on there. And that last one that says Work with Raven, I forgot to blank out. That doesn't have anything to do with this website. Just wanted to put that out there since you probably will wonder. And then the next one here. This is actually a screenshot from Site Build It's search engine headquarters, and basically what this is according to Site Build It's resources, it's pulled, and they do this for every single page that I have on the system, but I've just taken a screenshot of some of them, the F's and some of the G's. But basically it's pulled the rankings from Yahoo, Google. Well, the first column is Google, then it's Yahoo and Bing as far as what number you're ranking for that particular search term. So you can see for something like grocery coupon online classes, I'm number 3 on Google, number 1 on Yahoo for that. And then something like Friendly Home Parties, which is a direct sales page. I'm 1 on Bing, 2 on Yahoo, and 19 on Google. So, I have an awful lot of 1, 2s, and 3s. The ones that say greater than 30, it just means that after they get past 30, they're not going to show you the ranking anymore because, it's already past the 3rd page. It doesn't really matter. But it does say that if it says greater than 30, it does mean that it has, registered with them, that they are aware of the page. So you can see that there are a lot of high-ranking pages that I have. And this, like I said, this is just I've got like almost 400 or 500 pages, something ridiculous on this website. So you can see this is just a very small snapshot. But it is nice to have those tools at our fingertips, which is one of the big benefits of having the site sale platform. That I can look at these types of rankings on a consistent basis and see where I am on different pages. All right, next slide. Now, this is a product, and I did a couple of slides on some different products. One of the directions that I was heading in before I kind of decided I didn't want anything to do with this site anymore, and I know that's a question later, I'll go over that in a little bit, was I had, on another site that I own, I had started to find success with creating downloadable template products that I wrote out what I wanted, and I had a graphic designer design so that that would help moms, usually with a saving money or managing household aspect. They do very well on Etsy. They were doing very well on my other site. This was a project that I kind of sort of started, but never actually completed. And it's a shame because there's a lot of the products that are already created that have never been listed for sale, and those products are all transferable with the site. The one that you're looking at right now was a companion product to the couponing course. Again, remember that the couponing section, over 50 pages on the site, is one of the most popular sections on the page, or excuse me, on the site. So this basically is a downloadable product that users can print out at home and create what's called a coupon binder, which is an organizational system for them to use to organize all the coupons so that they have the ability to go to the store and get, cartfuls of stuff for free. So that's what this particular product was. My intent was to sell it for around the $27 mark, or to combine it with the couponing course and raise the price of it because it was adding value. It was just a matter of, this could have taken me 3 hours, and why I never did it, I don't know, to put it up, and I just never did. I just didn't, and that was my bad. But it is included for the next people to be able to do that with. If you go to the next slide, there's some more pictures. This particular one, the one right before it was yeah, there we go. That is a menu set, and basically what that was is moms can print that set at home. They can laminate it, have it laminated at Office Max, or they can even put it into a picture frame where they can write on it. So they only have to print it off once, and they can write, the weekly menus. And they've got one for each of the months of the year to kind of, spice it up, make it a little bit different, make it fun. There were a couple Pinterest pins that did very well on this concept, so I had it created as a product. And I've listed it, and I never, on the site, I never actually promoted it. So it's just kind of like off there in la la land right now. But they've got one for each month of the year, then one for each of the holidays, and it's just a fun product. It's templates, so it's created once, you don't have to ever create it again, and it's as soon as you start listing it and drawing attention to it, it sells. And then the next one is, this one's called My Budget Buddy, and basically it is a binder kit that's supposed to be everything financial to a mom. So you've got, checkbook registers and debt checkoff lists and, bill reminders and monthly budgets and all the things that go into creating a workable budget. And that's one that I'm very proud of the way that it turned out, but again, I never actually listed this. This is not for sale on the website. It's just sitting on my hard drive with all of the wonderful files and pictures ready to go that I just unashamedly never did anything with. Let's see what else we got on the next page. I think that might be it. Yes, I think this is it. I'm not sure what you want me to talk about as far as the revenue goes.
No, that's fine. Thank you. That was a very good explanation. Thank you. Revenue, and this is something that's accessible, as mentioned on Latona's when you click on The hyperlink, as mentioned, roughly 1,200 of this is month in, month out, essentially on autopilot. Um, and keep in mind, we're looking at a $400 variance, $500 variance here for the vast majority of the site for these 12 months. Um, I guess when you just add more templates or have specials, or what happened in March, I guess, versus April.
I have no idea. When I say that I haven't
500
really done,
bucks. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but right, it's
yeah. And actually, this month, May, we're in the middle of May now, and I've already exceeded what April did completely in the month.
oh, fantastic. That's
It's been a
great.
very
That's good stuff.
good month. And that seems to be my cycle is I'll go up far and then I'll go down from that a couple months, then I'll go up a little bit more, and then and this is kind of it's doing its thing, but I haven't really pushed anything because again I've pretty much ignored this website for the last year.
Okay, that's good. Good explanation, as good as any. This calculation, I won't make you. I don't want to say ad nauseum. I won't make you go into detail because you did a very good job, and it's expressed on Latona's. This 126.23, as one would infer listening to this. This is calculating in shared hosting, shared accounts. It's all on Latona's, so I won't bore anybody to go over that. But it's fixed costs, so there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Um, why don't you do? And some of this you've already covered. The how many hours? Firstly, an hour of your time is worth more than an hour of my time in a whole host of activities, and vice versa. The probably one of the more relevant things is to what did you come in with the site or come into the site? What was your background? And what you do day to day right now, how many hours? I know it's not a lot, but why don't you take it from there and we can then advance to the next slide when you're done talking about it.
So you're asking me what my background was when I started the website?
Right. What did you bring to the site? What skill set do you have right now? And how much time do you spend on the site per day?
Well, this was actually my learning website. This was the very first website that I ever built by myself, and I came into it just as a mom with an idea. Found the site sell platform, absorbed every bit of training material that they had, and as we saw back there when we did the backlinks page, I was one of the people that was a success story with the program simply because I followed directions. So I was very religious about creating content and keyword-focused content pages. In fact, that's one of the mottos of Site Builder is if you don't know what to do today, create more content. So that's why the site is so large. So in the first few years of the site, I did dedicate most of my time to creating content, to researching, to putting things into place. I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 pages in the last year. I did do in January, I did decide to do like a month of freezer cooking, and I documented and put a page up on SBI on it for that. I think that's the only page that I've created in the last 6 months. So there's not been a lot of day-to-day operations now on it. So in the beginning there was an awful lot of it, but now it's not. There's not. Could there be? Well, sure. You could go through page by page, clean them up, modernize them a little bit, add some more monetization methods. I think that would be an excellent idea. I think that would be a way to turn this around and, double or triple the income in a matter of months just because you're going in and paying attention to the things that I've overlooked over the years. How many hours a month? Basically, what I do with this site is I spend a little bit of time putting together social media posts. I've got like lists of what I put together. I'll put together like a picture with a question or tell us about your business, and I schedule it for whatever day or whatever time, and it's done. I don't even really. Occasionally I'll go in to the Facebook page and I'll moderate things, but I kind of let it go on autopilot for the most part. There might be a question or two that comes in, a question or two that comes through my support desk. All in all, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 hours a month tops, and that's including the jerky. And that's probably more than it really is requiring me at this point. So that's what I'm doing to keep the income at the level that it is now. Um, it would, the more time you put into it, the more benefits I think that would be appreciated with it.
Okay. Um, and you touched upon that a bit. Site growth. What would you do if you kept the site and put in more effort? What would you do?
If I put in more effort,
Right.
the first thing that I would do would be to implement all these products that I have laying around my hard drive and really put a lot of effort into that. Um, I kind of got started with this project in my head, and I thought, oh, wouldn't this be great if I was able to go on Facebook, which is where all my people are, and put some money into advertising these products on Facebook. Well, at the time, the products were low end products, $10, and that's not conduit, good for a Facebook ad. You'd spend that much. So I ended up coming up with a better concept with, well, what if they were $27 to $37 products? Then I could advertise them on Facebook, and then I could, bring more traffic back. And it just never happened. And that's kind of why I think that I stopped with what I was doing, is that the products were kind of in various stages of completion. Now I have products that, they're there. I just never got around to doing them. But I think that I would put the products together. I would put a lot more effort into growing my list and to marketing on Facebook the products so that I could get people back to the website. As far as site growth, again, if somebody were to go in page by page, clean them up a little bit. The pages were written when I learned how to write for the internet, and I learned how to create these websites, and I followed the site build it path. The pages are probably more keyword written than they are person written. So there could be a little bit of tweaks going on with, you're probably going to read a page and think, oh, well, I don't know that I would have worded it that way. And that was just based on the way that I learned how to do it way back when. So they probably could be freshened up a little bit. And like I said, more monetization options put in. Right now, every page or nearly every page has Google AdSense, and that's about it. And I never did the whole tweaking thing where you're supposed to split test this ad against this ad. It was just way over my head. I never did that. So, that alone, there's potential if you know how to do that kind of thing.
Okay. And also covered this. Why are you selling?
So, I've just been, the entire concept was being able to stay a stay-at-home mom. And I have this, first off, I am a stay-at-home mom. I work at home, doing my websites, and my children are growing up. They're teenagers now. And I have this play in my mind. I feel sometimes like I'm a fraud. And what I mean by that is when I first started this website, I did all the couponing things. And I turned down extreme couponing because we traveled at the time. I had the ability to be so frugal that I knew where every penny was going and to budget things. And I did all these things. But as I've aged and as my priorities have shifted, I don't anymore. So when I'm talking about deals, sometimes I feel like, well, I'm not going to go out and do those deals because I just seriously don't have the time to do them anymore because I'm busy with my other projects. So it feels unauthentic to me, just because that was where I was when I created it. And now I'm feeling like I'm not doing it anymore. So there's been that kind of disconnect with the site for the last few years. And then last year, my focus started to shift to some of my other projects just because they were fun to me. And this wasn't fun to me anymore. So I've kind of gotten this apathy towards the site. And the longer it sits there and me not paying attention to it, the more guilty I feel, like it's a person and I need to take care of it, and I'm not, which is silly. But, we get emotionally attached to things that we've created. So I would feel better about the site if I could have somebody else who was more interested in it take the time and make it into something more along what its potential really is, as opposed to it just being there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear that a lot, to be candid. I do. If you're not spending time on the site, and there are more things that can be done with it, it makes sense to sell it. That's more often than not the case. Thank you, by the way. And Raven, I've worked in questions that came in throughout, especially you did a great job with the admin. I didn't have any questions then. But we're at the end because you did a great job, answered all mine and others' questions. what I will say to everybody listening to this is my contact information. That's my cell phone and my Skype address, obviously my email. You can call me, Skype me, add me to Skype. I always accept. If you want a prospectus, it says request prospectus. I'll make sure you have an NDA on file. If you don't, I'll send you an NDA so you can digitally sign it. Raven, you did a great job. I want to thank you for your time. I'm glad May is turning out to be, or it already is, better than April. So everybody here, that's a great thing to hear. We do have interest in the site that we're engaging people about, and you did nothing but improve the chances here. So thank you. Um, I'll be in touch, Raven, and I hope you have a great weekend. Well,
You too.
not only a great weekend, which is 4 days away or whatever it is, but a great rest of the Tuesday.
All right, you too.
Thanks, Raven.
Mhm.